So here it says the Caribbean, and before we look at the grouping, it says the Caribbean is a large area extending from the southern coast of the United States to the northern coast of South America, bounded on the west by Mexico and the Central American states and facing out to the Atlantic Ocean. So the northern boundary is North America, the southern boundary, South America, the eastern boundary, the Atlantic Ocean, and the western boundary, the Gulf of Mexico. So I'll show that to you in a diagrammatical way soon. So it says now the region is made up of a number of island groupings, and in your list just now all of them came out. So we have the Greater Antilles, the Lesser Antilles, the Bahamas, the Windward Islands, the Leeward Islands, the Dutch or Netherland Antilles, and the mainland territories. So based on the listing we have here, there are actually 7 different groupings that islands within the regions are placed in at some point or another, right? And we're not talking about economic groups now. We talk about CARICOM or the OECS or what. We're talking about geographical groups. Greater Antilles, Lesser, the Bahamas, the Windward Islands, Leeward, the Dutch Antilles, and the mainland territories. When we look at this, it says the Caribbean, and you're seeing that archipelago from Cuba, well, the Bahamas and Cuba in the north, straight down to Trinidad and Tobago in the south. And you see different little areas being enclosed by some red lines. This now is a representation of the region primarily without the mainland territories. So the mainland territories are not present here, but all the other groups are here. So we look at the mainland territories, which are Belize, Guyana, and Suriname, but we'll look at that in a few. So we're seeing some red lines encasing or enclosing certain areas. So we see the Bahamas up to the north there, we have the Cayman Islands to the west of Jamaica, we have the Turks and Caicos Islands above Hispaniola there, we have the Virgin Islands, and it goes down to Trinidad and Tobago all the way down there. So it is out of this now that we get our main groupings, the Greater and Lesser Antilles, Leeward and Windward Islands, and the Dutch Antilles, and the Bahamas, right? So those are the groupings. There are 7 of them. Only 6 can be seen on this map in front of you. So we look at them individually as we go forward, yeah? So we'll start off with the Bahamas. So to the north of the region, just southeast of the Florida Panhandle, is a group of islands that we call the Bahamas, and they form part of what we call the Lucayan Archipelago. You don't need to commit that to memory still, but the Bahamas is a group of islands to the north of the region. The Bahamas, and importantly, the Bahamas is not a part of the Greater Antilles or the Lesser Antilles, it's just the Bahamas. Is that clear? So that is one group by itself. That archipelago, group of islands, chain of islands, is just the Bahamas. And it is north of Cuba to the southeast of the Florida Panhandle there. So that is the Bahamas. So that is the first grouping. So the Bahamas by itself, just the Bahamas, first group. And it is to the north of Cuba, to the southeast of the Florida Panhandle, to the northwest of Hispaniola. We know Hispaniola is a combination of Haiti and Dominican Republic. So that is the Bahamas, so first group. So the next 2 groups are the Greater Antilles and the Lesser Antilles. A simple way of remembering this is that the Greater Antilles are the northern larger islands, while the Lesser Antilles are the smaller Eastern Caribbean islands. And if you look at this broken line, you will see that line exists just after Puerto Rico. So the larger islands to the north, which would be Cuba, Jamaica, Hispaniola, and Puerto Rico, makes up the Greater Antilles. And when we say Hispaniola, we are referring to Haiti and the Dominican Republic. So those 2 countries, they are on the same landmass, and together they form the island of Hispaniola. And the Bahamas is just north of the Greater Antilles. So the Bahamas, then we have the Greater Antilles, and which islands we say make up the Greater Antilles again?
The larger northern islands.
Very good. Give me the names, please.
So Hispaniola, Jamaica,
Haiti,
Dominica, Puerto Rico, Cuba.
Alright, so Haiti is not an island, Dominican Republic is not an island. So let me just point that out, right? So the island, the name of the island is Hispaniola, but the countries are Haiti and the Dominican Republic. So fine, so Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico. While the other islands now, starting with BVI, the British Virgin Islands, all the way down to Trinidad and Tobago, makes up the Lesser Antilles. So Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Barbados, and the works. We'll look at it in a little bit more detail as we go along. We're looking at the greater. So we have the Bahamas up here, so by itself, one group. Below the Bahamas, we have those four large northern islands: Cuba, Jamaica, Hispaniola, and Puerto Rico. And we know that Hispaniola is made up of Haiti and the Dominican Republic. So those are the Greater Antilles Islands. Following so far? So again, the four large northern islands of Cuba, Jamaica, Hispaniola, and Puerto Rico makes up the Greater Antilles. We know that Hispaniola is made up of which two countries again?
Haiti and the Dominican Republic.
Very good. Haiti and Domrep. So now we move in, and over here we're seeing the Lesser Antilles, but we look at it by itself. We're on the Lesser Antilles now. So these are the islands in the Eastern Caribbean, the smaller islands that makes up the Lesser Antilles. So another easy way of remembering the Greater Antilles is that they are made up of the larger islands, the ones that are greater in size. The Lesser Antilles now includes islands like Saba, St. Eustatius. We'll come back to Saba, St. Eustatius in a few. St. Kitts and Nevis, Montserrat, Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines. Grenada. It goes down to Trinidad and Tobago as well. Some maps will leave it or some maps will include it, because there's still a little bit of confusion as to who falls where or what falls where. So different sources will give you different things. So just remember, the Lesser Antilles are the smaller group of islands in that island chain or island arc or archipelago out in the Eastern Caribbean, extending down to Grenada or Trinidad and Tobago, starting with the US Virgin Islands to the east of Puerto Rico. I am not expecting that you will readily know all the names of the islands and where they are on the map, but right, because it's a lot of them, and it's fair that it will take time. So you just need to keep looking at it and keep practicing. What you should do is also get a base map. So a base map is a map without writing on it. So it's just the outline of the islands, and to try and label them over time until you know them. Yeah, because trust me, you will have students who will come to class knowing it. And as a teacher, you would also want to know that when your charges come to class, you are able to meet them where they are and bring them along. So you will have students who will know this, because some students will just love it and spend time to know it. So we also have to know it. So take your time. I mean, print it, put it up on your wall. When you wake up in the morning, the first thing you see it, you go through them. Before you go to sleep at night, you have it on your wall, you look at it again. This is how you remember things. But there's a lot of them, in all honesty. So I would understand if you don't know all of them. And what you could also do is look at the shape. Many of the islands have distinct shapes, and you use those shapes to kind of make reference to them. So, oh, you're going to say, okay, so that one shape like that, that one shape like that, and you get a look of vibe feet and a look of feel feet. And the Lesser Antilles are those islands that are lesser in size. So that's another way of remembering the difference between Greater and Lesser Antilles again. Now, many people are not aware. So when you come on to the Dutch Antilles, many people tell you, sir, the ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao, fine. But there are actually two different groups of Dutch-speaking islands within the region. You have one in the northern Leeward Islands or Lesser Antilles, and one in the southern Leeward Islands. Yeah? So the one to the north, that is to the east of Puerto Rico is the one with Saba, St. Eustatius, and St. Martin. So it's not Saint as in S-A-I-N-T like the rest of them. Right? So those three up here, remember that Puerto Rico is to the east of Hispaniola. And to the east of Puerto Rico, where you see this red circle, you have 3 dots there. So you have Saba, St. Eustatius, and St. Martin. And to the north of South America down here now, you have the ABC Islands. Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. Those 6 islands in 2 different groups makes up the Dutch or Netherland Antilles. Is that clear or is that clear?
Sir, go back one more time.
It's not a problem. I'm happy to do that. Again, as I said, many people are not understanding of the fact that when it comes on to the Netherland or Dutch Antilles, it's actually 2 different groups of islands located 2 different places. One group is located to the north of the Lesser Antilles, and one is located just above South America. The one to the north, those 3 islands are Saba, St. Eustatius, and St. Martin. The one to the south, which is just north of South America, is made up of the ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. So there are actually 6 islands within the Dutch Antilles within the region. However, they are located in 2 groups in 2 different locations. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we move. So here now is what tend to confuse people the most about the island groups. The Leeward Islands and the Windward Islands. The text is like it's a lot, but don't worry about it. I'll go through it. Many people get very confused when they have to label on a map Leeward versus Windward. And what makes it even a little bit more complicated is that you actually have 2 Leeward groups and 1 Windward group. And some people are not also understanding of why one group is called Windward and while one is called Leeward. There's a little bit of method to the madness. So let me just give you this first. Let me give you the method to the madness. So the Windward Islands. The Windward Islands are located on the eastern edge of the Caribbean Sea and form the southern boundary between the Caribbean and the Atlantic Ocean. The Windward group includes the islands of Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Grenada. And some geographers include Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago in the Windward Islands, as they should. Yeah? So that is the Windward Islands. And it says, importantly, these islands are located on the eastern edge of the Caribbean Sea, creating a boundary now between the Caribbean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean. And I'll soon tell you exactly why it's called Windward. Leeward Islands now, the Leeward Islands are located on the eastern edge of the Caribbean Sea. Similar to the Windward, you know, both of them are on the eastern edge, you know, right? However, and form the northeastern boundary. So the Windward Islands form the eastern boundary, while the Leeward Islands forms the northeastern boundary between the Caribbean and the Atlantic. The Leeward group includes the US Virgin Islands, the British Virgin Islands, Anguilla, St. Martin, St. Bartholomew, Saba, St. Eustatius, St. Kitts, Nevis, Barbuda, Antigua, Montserrat, and Guadeloupe. Now, when you look on the blue diagram here, to the right of screen, how many Leeward Island groups do you see?
2.
You see 2. Very good. And that is a part of the confusion. And you see 1 Windward group. Remember in the text just now, it says the Windward group form the eastern boundary of the Caribbean. While the Leeward Islands form the northeastern boundary. The reason why one is called Windward, remember that the prevailing winds, alright, probably I'm moving a little bit too fast. The winds which blows most frequently across an area are called the prevailing winds. So let me repeat. The winds that blows most frequently across an area, they are called the prevailing winds. The prevailing winds in the Caribbean are the northeast trade winds. The northeast trade winds within the region, they blow from east to west. So when they are blowing across the Atlantic into the Caribbean, they are hitting these islands in the windward first. So they are called the Windward Islands. The windward normally are facing the oncoming wind. Let me say that again. Windward means that place is facing the oncoming winds. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
I don't want to confuse anybody, and I don't want anybody to leave here more confused than they came here. If you were, that is, right? So again, the windward, they are called Windward Islands because they are in the direct line of the oncoming winds, hence windward. They form the eastern boundary between the Caribbean and the Atlantic Ocean. Above them now to the north, we have the Leeward Islands, which now forms the northeastern boundary between the Caribbean and the Atlantic Ocean. Down to the south here, so where we have Aruba, Curacao, Bonaire, Tortuga, that is called the Leeward Antilles because it is still in the shadow of the Windward Islands. Yeah? So it's really and truly two groups. But the main group is to the north with the US Virgin Islands, Barbuda, Antigua, Guadeloupe, Montserrat, Dominica, and so on. Following?
Yes, sir.
So would you be able... Yes? A young lady was saying something?
No, I just answered first.
Oh, okay. Would you be able... Say, for example, a question says, list any 3 islands within the Windward Island group and 3 within the Leewards. Would you be able to do that on your own? Or not yet?
I think so.
You think so? So after having this PowerPoint and going through it tonight and tomorrow, you will be able to do so?
Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome. Right, so far we have looked at the Bahamas, the Greater Antilles, the Lesser Antilles, the Leeward Islands, the Windward Islands, the Dutch Antilles. And we are okay thus far, I hope. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. All right. So we now move on to the final group, which is the mainland territories. It says these territories includes Belize, Guyana, and Suriname. So it says Belize, Guyana, and Suriname are also considered part of the Caribbean, despite being mainland countries, and they are full member state of the Caribbean. So watch this now. Belize, which is in green up here, so in Central America. Guyana, which is in red, and Suriname, which is in, I'm going to say that is purple, or maybe not, or some dark blue, something. Those 3 nations are in Central and South America, respectively. They are not in the Caribbean. So that is why, they are on the mainland of South America and Central America. You following? And because they are on the mainland of Central and South America, we call them mainland territories. Belize, Guyana, and Suriname. Following so far? Are you okay with that?
Yes, sir.
Very good. They are also CARICOM member states. And we understand that CARICOM was a treaty that was signed to create incorporation and integration, economic, education, sport, and so on within the Caribbean region. I think now we have, 15 states and a couple of associate states. And Guyana, Suriname, Belize are a part of that, even though they are not Caribbean islands. They are on the South American and Central American mainland, hence we call them mainland territories. Belize, Guyana, Suriname. And we are clear on that?
Yes, sir.
Alright. Are there any questions, any issues that you still have that has not been addressed by this that we have gone through? You need to tell me now. I'll run back through everything for your benefit, but is there anything that you're still not certain about? We are a little bit more comfortable now with the content than we were before?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So let's run through again. Any questions? Any comments? No? Okay, awesome. But again, being the teacher...
Do you have any comments? No, miss.
Okay.
Only problem I found.
Okay, problem, right.
Only problem I found. I wanted the sir to over the part where the Leeward Island and the Windward Island was just that. But
no, but the way it says, what you're saying about the Leeward and the Windward Island, not. What about it?
Miss E explained it. I understand, but I just wanted it to over the hearing and the map. Yeah.
But then if okay, it's not a problem. So I'll share again.
Yeah.
I'll share, but it is written there, Miss Scott. So just look. So you see here, it says Leeward Islands. So where the lines are spaced, those diagonal lines to the north, it says Leeward Islands up here. So that circle there is enclosing all the islands which makes up the Leeward Islands. Are you seeing that?
Yes, sir.
And then the one below it, the lines are closer if you look at it, right? Those are now the Windward Islands.
The one that is at the bottom.
It is below. Right, below. They are
like
also
St. Vincent.
For the Windward group.
Yes, sir.
Right. So look how they differentiated between them. For the Leeward group, the diagonal lines, they are spaced wider apart. Below that now you have the same lines, but they are very close to each other now. So the ones where the lines are wide apart, those are related to the Leeward group. The ones where the lines are closer now are the Windward. See there, it says Windward and it points to it. So from Martinique down to Trinidad would be in the Windward group. And from Dominica up to the US Virgin Island would be in the Leeward group.
Okay, sir.
Clear now?
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome.
Yes, sir.
Daniel, any questions? Markia, Ms. O'Connor, Rashawn, Mr. Ricketts, any questions? Do you have any questions?
No, miss, I don't have any questions. Currently, most of what I came in the class, I'm not sure about was cleaned up. So now I'm kind of set on my way in a sense.
Awesome.
All right, good. All right, Mr. Williams, thank you very much. Tanisha, could you go ahead and do the vote of thanks?
Teach them! Hey, yo, hello! Send the message and make it reach them. It's teach them. Right here, Warlord representing.
Thank you for watching. Like the video before you go. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. And remember to share the video with your friends and family. And browse the channel for more quality content. Until next time, walk good, my friends.
Teach them!